This is TWiT.
While Leo is off enjoying some well-deserved family time, I had a chance to usurp the 10.5-inch iPad Pro that he ordered for himself, and I got to take it for a little spin before he came back from vacation. Here are my first thoughts. It is beautiful, and it is, as many have already said, truly the baby bear bed of iPad Pros. Not too big, not too small, but just right. And Apple made it even more perfect for Goldilocks by making the screen bigger and the bezels thinner. Everyone knows that Goldilocks loves those thin bezels. Goldilocks also likes a slightly bigger keyboard. Apple says that they made a 10.5-inch iPad so it could have a full-size keyboard. This isn't exactly what I would call a full-size keyboard, but it is bigger than the 9.5 iPad Pro. Other than that, it looks a lot like your standard iPad. Here is how two of the iPad Pros compare from a physical perspective. This iPad doesn't have cellular capabilities, so no antenna lines. For a brief moment, when I first opened the iPad, I was convinced I'd scratched it, but apparently these tiny holes were meant to be there. As for the specs, swiping and opening and browsing seems faster on the new iPad Pro, and it should be. The new one is almost as powerful as a MacBook with the new and improved ATX Fusion chip. Plus, there's 4 gigs of RAM built in. iOS 11 will bring with it new ways to organize, view, and access your files, plus improved multitasking and split screen features. But keep in mind, iOS 11 isn't out yet, and the public beta won't even be available until later this summer. The display is beautiful, no doubt about it. The new 120 Hz Pro Motion display automatically ups the refresh rate. The old Mama and Papa Bear iPad Pros were limited to a 60 Hz refresh rate. Even better, the chip in the new iPad Pro is smart enough to know if I'm surfing the web, watching a movie, or reading an ebook, and it adjusts the frame rate accordingly. The older iPad Pros also have Retina displays, but improved refresh rate makes everything even better. I wanted to take the screen off and see for myself what's inside the new iPad to make the picture so great, but since it's Leo's, I decided to depend on other teardowns that have been posted online. And it turns out that there are not 2, but 4 connecting cables between the display and the hardware inside. The price. What I've always said about any of the iPad Pros is that for me, the price only makes sense if you compare it to a laptop. $900 doesn't seem like that much if you're comparing it to an $1,800 MacBook that has about the same power. If you love the iPad form factor and you've always wanted to buy one, but you haven't been able to justify it, this might be the right time for you. If you think you'll use it mostly for consuming content at home, I would probably go with that newer 12.9-inch iPad Pro, the biggest one, the Papa Bear. If you like rose gold, however, you'll have to stick to one of the smaller sizes because the 12.9-inch only comes in gold, space gray, and silver. Bottom line, if you've already bought one or both of the previous size iPad Pros and you are not Leo, upgrading to this iPad Pro just to get a slightly bigger display, more power, more RAM, and smaller bezels doesn't make a lot of sense from an economic perspective. If you've convinced yourself that you need to upgrade to this iPad Pro to utilize all the features of iOS 11, then you might at least wait until iOS 11 is out and try it on your current iPad to see if it lives up to the promise of the demo at WWDC. I am Megan Morrone, and I host Tech News Today every Monday through Friday at 4 p.m. Pacific with Jason Howell, and iOS Today every Monday around 1:30 with Leo Laporte. Speaking of Leo, he'll be back, so I'm going to wrap this iPad of his back up. And, well, you know what? They're almost the same size. I don't think he'll notice.